So this right here is the new ZG01 gaming mixer from Yamaha, and Yamaha is known for their outstanding audio devices, so this is no different here. And this device has so many different buttons, knobs, and 3 HDMI cables. We're gonna get into all of that and more in this new Yamaha ZG01 review. Let's get into it. Now, this device already has a ton of reviews on YouTube, but one thing I've noticed is that nobody has been talking about all the things that this thing cannot do, and unfortunately, it ends up being a big problem. But before we get into that, let's talk about all the good things that this product offers. The headphones we're going to talk about a lot later because that's not as important as the mixer itself. Now, the product packaging, the instruction guide, and everything that goes along with it is super hip and definitely with the times. Definitely a switch from the normal Yamaha things you'd buy. But starting off with the gaming mixer, on the front you have the mic in and the headphone in plugs, followed by the aux cable and the power button all the way to the right. On the back of the device, you have two different type C ports. One is for extra power, which is the one on the left and is marked 5V DC. The one on the right is so that you can plug that directly into your PC. There are 3 different HDMI ports. 2 of them are for inputs and 1 of them is for the output, meaning that you could have 2 separate devices, maybe like a Nintendo Switch and a PS5 plugged directly into this device, and then the HDMI out goes to the monitor or display of your choice. Lastly, all the way to the right, we have the speaker out, which is if you wanted to connect to computer speakers or an external speaker device. And lastly, we have the XLR mic input for anybody out there that wants to use an XLR microphone. Just note that if you do plan on using the mic in on the front, it will take priority over the XLR mic on the back. So knowing that, you can't use both at the same time. On the top of the device, it's split up into 2 halves. The left side handles everything that has to do with your microphone, while the right side is everything that has to do with your headphones. Starting with the left side, of course, you have your mute button. On the top is the gain knob, so the higher it is, that increases the amount of noise that can be picked up from your microphone. And you also have the slider, which can increase your mic volume for your teammates or for anybody that's listening on the other side. And that 48V button, that's if you're using an XLR microphone with the mic in port on the back. The 3 buttons on the right, those are your mic effects. So you could add in a voice changer like an echo, a deep voice, or even like a high pitched voice using these 3 buttons on the side. And you can alter them to however you like in the application itself when you have it plugged into the PC. Now on the top of the device, you do have a button so you can alternate between one HDMI port and the other. Now the button on the top middle, that allows you to alternate between both HDMI ports. So for example, if you're using your PS5, you can click that button and it can swap over to your Nintendo Switch or whichever console you have plugged into the other port. Next to that, you also do have the mute button. So if you're swapped to one port, you could also mute it, so you won't be hearing anything from that. And next to that, going on the right side, that allows you to alternate between your speaker output. And now that we entered into the right side of the device, let me explain how this works. If you notice on the top right, there are 2 knobs. One has a little message symbol while the other one has a game symbol on it. When you have your device plugged into your PC, it actually acts as 2 separate audio devices. And this is so that you can control 2 different audio devices using both knobs separately. So I could have the right side hooked up to my Discord for game chat, while the other one is hooked up to my game so that I can control the game volume separate from the Discord chat. The knob below that, that is like your master volume, that turns everything up or turns everything down. And the 3 buttons on the left side labeled 1, 2, and 3, those are the different presets that you could set for your headphones, so you could have 3 different sound fields. Okay, so now that we got the baseline set, let me actually tell you why this device is actually really cool and offers a lot of neat features that you don't really see in a lot of products that are on the market today. And I'm gonna be comparing this a lot to my Astro Mix Amp because, well, I mean, I've had this device for such a long time. It was actually the device that started me up when I first got my whole setup down, so I may be mentioning it quite a bit in this video. So one really nice feature about this that I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about is the build quality. The build quality of this is so solid, it's heavy, it's durable. One problem I did have with the Astro Mix Amp, since my wired headphones did have to be plugged in, it would constantly be moving left and right. With this device, the weight of it alone, as well as the pad on the bottom, really make it so that it stays on your desk wherever you place it. And I think that's great just from an aesthetic. Also to note, Because this device uses the audio that's passed through the HDMI ports, you are not getting virtual surround sound, you are actually getting true surround sound. With my Astro Mix Amp, because the sound that was going to it was already post-processed, that means that the device itself would have to virtually process a virtual sound field just to give you that illusion of a surround sound when truly it was just stereo. But unlike the Astro Mix Amp, the Yamaha is actually true surround sound, and it is a notable difference when you are using this device. The sound itself has much more depth to it and does not sound as flat. Paired with the headphones that I did provide you, I cannot lie, this is one of the best sounding products I've used. But just note, you could only get that surround sound with the HDMI ports on the back of the device. Now, another great thing about this device is actually the application. Now, the application is free and it offers a ton of different resources to customize your device. Not only can you change up the voice changer options on the left side of your gaming mixer, but you could also change up the gaming effects, which we talked about earlier. But besides that, it also offers a lot of microphone customizations, so you can alter the compression, the noise gate, and so much others. And on the bottom of the application, you could also see the sound field that is going on in your headphones. And another thing to know is that this device does turn on automatically whenever you turn on your system or whatever this device was last plugged into. I'm gonna put up some diagrams just so you guys can see the various different ways you could have this thing plugged into your setup, depending on how many devices you have or what you intend on using this for. Okay, so we have outlined all the different features about this unit. We also have talked about all the great things that this thing has to offer, but now I want to jump into some of the things that I actually do not like about this product. Now, first off is actually the HDMI ports on the back. Okay, so we are in 2022. 2022, we have consoles like the PS5, the Xbox Series X, and all of those units do support HDMI 2.1. Unfortunately, this device right here only supports HDMI 2.0, which means if you do have a monitor or display that does support 4K at 120 Hz, and you plan on playing on your PS5 or Xbox Series X or your PC at 120 Hz at 4K, you will not be able to do that. You will be limited to 1080p at 120 Hz or 1440p at 120 Hz. But when you're trying to play at 4K, you will be dropped down to 60 Hz. And I feel like this is such a huge oversight from Yamaha, especially since this device is being released in 2022 when consoles have already been released since, I don't know when, like 2020 now? It's been more than a year, I think almost 2 years now, that consoles have been out and have been able to be played on a 4K 120 Hz display. So there's no reason why you should be releasing a product that cannot support HDMI 2.1, especially this far into the year. But just a note from my personal experience, I am currently using a 1440p monitor that is able to support 120 Hz. So I do play on my PS5 using this monitor and I do not notice any sort of problems whatsoever. I do get HDR, I do get those high refresh rates, and I do get 1440p with no problem whatsoever. So I'm just talking to those people that do have the 4K, the 120 Hz monitors or TVs and want to use this product. Unfortunately, you will not be able to utilize the maximum resolution that the PS5 and Xbox Series X does have to offer. Next thing to note, which I think this is another huge oversight from Yamaha, is that, guys, if you want to use this device as a standalone device, what do I mean by that? If you want to just plug this device directly into your PS5, it will not work. Yeah, it will not work. You have to have a PC in order for this unit to work. So if you just want to plug the USB port from this device into your PS5 and have your headphone plugged into the front, it won't register. I tried it already and I even asked Yamaha, and unfortunately they confirmed my suspicions that this device does not work with the PS5. The only way you could utilize this device is if you use the HDMI ports. So if you are using that 4K 120 Hz monitor, you will not be able to utilize this device just like as a USB plugin. It does not work like that. Okay, so let's continue down this road. Let's say I do have a PS5, I do have a PC, so I am able to utilize this product as it is intended, right? The thing is that you plug this thing via USB into the PC while the HDMI cable from your PS5 goes into this device, and then from the HDMI out, it goes into your monitor or TV. And then with your headphones, you plug it into the front of this device, so you should be able to play on your PS5, right? No, unfortunately, another problem that this device does have. Now let me explain how exactly an HDMI cable works. Information travels from one side and it goes to the other side, right? As it is intended, correct. But there's a problem. Information does not travel backwards. It can only go one way. So when you have this device and information is being traveled from your PS5 to this device and then from this device to the monitor, well, information is not getting traveled back to your PS5. So your microphone input will not travel back to your PS5 because, as we already established earlier, the USB port does not work with your PS5. It only works with the PC. So that means that your mic will not work. Doesn't matter if you have an XLR mic connected to this or if you use the mic port on the front. If you're trying to talk to anybody in a game chat on the PS5, or if you're trying to talk to anybody in a party chat on the PS5, this will not work because HDMI cables do not work bidirectionally. So the way they kind of intend this device to be used is that you can play on the PS5, you will get that surround sound, but you cannot talk to anybody in a game chat, party chat, whatever it may be on the PS5. The only people you can talk to are the people on your PC. So you would have to be playing on the PS5 and talking to people on Discord, for example, on your PC itself. So I think that is another huge oversight. How are you supposed to be able to play games properly on the PS5 with this device? The only other way to utilize your mic input is actually not by utilizing it on this device. You would have to get an external mic and plug that directly into your PS5 for that to be recognized and for you to be able to talk to people on your game chat or your game, whatever you're playing. And that just means that this whole left side of this device is basically useless. You cannot use it because the mic input does not work. Another thing to note is that anything that is not plugged into your HDMI ports on the back will not get surround sound. So if you have your HDMI cable going from this device to your PC and you are trying to play games on your PC without utilizing the HDMI ports on the back, you will not get that surround sound. It will come out as stereo audio. The only way you can get that surround sound is by utilizing the HDMI ports on the back. Another thing to note is that with this device, you cannot use wireless headphones. I just feel like I should mention that, even though it's kind of self-explanatory. You do have to use wired headphones in order to utilize all the functions of this gaming mixer. Now for streamers, what I just talked about kind of doesn't apply to you because since your USB is going to be plugged into the PC, you will be able to transmit your headphone audio and your microphone audio directly to your PC to your viewers. But just know that if you do try to talk to anybody on the PS5, that will not work. Because from this device, you could plug this into a capture card like the Elgato HD60S Plus, I believe. And then from there, it goes to your monitor or display. The headphones that this pack comes with, this is the YH-G01. These headphones are actually really comfortable. I have to say this is like the saving grace from this whole pack that I just finished talking about. The top of the headphones, these are foam. The cuffs on each of the ears, these are also foam as well. And I have to say they're extremely comfy. They don't make your head sweat. And comparing these to the A40s that I have previously, I have to say, I think these are actually better. Other than that, they are very lightweight. They do have the mic that does come out of the box. The only thing I wish they did do is have some type of cover because since I won't be able to utilize the mic, I would like to have like some type of cover here. Instead, you're gonna have like a little hole that's being exposed, but hey, it's not that big of a deal. Otherwise, these headphones are really nice. I mean, I didn't really have a whole section about these headphones because, well, they're pretty good. I mean, they work as intended, they're comfy, and there's not a lot I could say good or bad about these. Even without using the surround sound, they're pretty solid headphones to say the least. So that is my full review on the Yamaha ZG01. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys have any questions whatsoever on this unit. I'm gonna be testing it out for the next couple weeks, and I'm gonna see if there's any type of workaround to any of the problems that I have talked about. But unfortunately, up to now, from my initial testing, this is just the way this product is designed to be. I think that if they do come out with any software updates that do enhance this product and fix any of the problems I talked about, I'll make sure I post a video on it to keep you guys updated. But as always, my name is Matthew. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, peace out.